Millie, a young woman burdened by a troubled past, steps into what she hopes will be a fresh start. She accepts a job as a live-in housemaid for the Winchester family, believing this opportunity could finally turn her life around. The Winchester home, at first glance, is pristine and inviting, filled with the promise of stability and security. But as Millie settles in, subtle hints suggest that this new beginning may not be as hopeful as she imagined. The air feels heavy with unspoken tension, and Millie can't shake the feeling that something is off beneath the surface. Her optimism slowly gives way to unease as she starts to notice the cracks in the perfect facade. The Winchester family seems to have it all: wealth, elegance, and a beautiful home. Nina Winchester, the lady of the house, greets Millie with a warm smile and impeccable manners. Her husband, Andrew, is charming and attentive, making Millie feel welcome. Their young daughter adds to the image of a perfect family. Yet, as Millie observes their interactions, she senses an underlying tension. The family's perfection feels rehearsed, almost too good to be true. Millie's instincts tell her to stay alert, but she tries to focus on her duties, hoping her suspicions are just nerves from starting a new job. Nina Winchester appears to be the ideal employer: graceful, generous, and always put together. She gives Millie clear instructions and seems genuinely interested in her well-being. However, it doesn't take long for Nina's demeanor to shift. Small criticisms turn into sharp remarks, and her mood swings become more frequent. Millie finds herself walking on eggshells, never sure what will set Nina off. The kindness that first welcomed her now feels like a trap, and Millie begins to realize that Nina's perfection is only skin deep. The psychological games have just begun. Andrew Winchester, Nina's husband, is the picture of charm. He listens to Millie, offers her reassurance, and often steps in when Nina's temper flares. At first, Millie is grateful for his support, seeing him as a safe ally in the household. But soon, she notices inconsistencies in his stories and a coldness behind his polite smile. Andrew's charm starts to feel manipulative, as if he's playing a role for Millie's benefit. The lines between friend and foe blur, and Millie begins to question who she can really trust in this house. As Millie settles into her new role, she's confronted with a series of odd and restrictive house rules. Certain rooms are locked at all times, and she's forbidden from entering them. She's not allowed to leave the house without permission, and her movements are closely monitored. Late at night, she hears strange noises echoing through the halls, and personal items begin to disappear. The house, once a symbol of hope, now feels like a cage. Millie's sense of unease grows as she realizes these rules are designed to keep secrets hidden and to keep her under control. Every day, Millie feels the walls closing in. The house's atmosphere becomes increasingly oppressive, with every creak and shadow feeding her anxiety. She starts to notice that the family's routines are carefully orchestrated, and any deviation is met with suspicion. The sense of being watched is constant, and Millie's nerves are stretched thin. She begins to question her own perceptions, wondering if she's imagining things or if the danger is real. The psychological pressure mounts, making it harder for her to distinguish between reality and paranoia. Millie soon finds herself blamed for every mishap in the house, from misplaced items to minor accidents. No matter how careful she is, Nina always finds fault, and Andrew's support is nowhere to be found when she needs it most. The constant accusations wear Millie down, making her doubt her own memory and judgment. She's trapped in a cycle of fear and obedience, desperate to avoid conflict but unable to escape the scrutiny. The psychological manipulation is relentless, leaving Millie isolated and vulnerable. With each passing day, Millie's fear intensifies. She becomes hyper-vigilant, second-guessing every action and word. The Winchester's unpredictable behavior keeps her on edge, and she struggles to maintain her composure. The house, once a place of refuge, now feels like a prison. Millie's sense of self begins to erode under the constant pressure, and she wonders if she'll ever find a way out. The psychological games have escalated, and Millie is caught in a web of control she can't break free from. Determined to understand what's really happening, Millie begins to investigate the locked rooms and strange occurrences. She quietly observes the family's behavior, looking for clues that might explain the odd rules and missing items. Her curiosity leads her to discover hidden compartments, secret documents, and whispered conversations behind closed doors. Each revelation brings her closer to the truth, but also puts her in greater danger. The secrets she uncovers are darker than she ever imagined, and she realizes that her life may be at risk. As Millie pieces together the puzzle, she realizes that the danger isn't just psychological, it's physical. She finds evidence of past violence and threats that have been carefully concealed. The Winchester's perfect image is shattered, revealing a family capable of cruelty and deception. Millie's instincts scream at her to escape, but she knows that any wrong move could be fatal. The stakes are higher than ever, and Millie must use all her wits to stay one step ahead. Nina's behavior grows increasingly erratic, swinging from moments of vulnerability to outbursts of rage. She confides in Millie, sharing stories of her own struggles and fears. But her confessions are laced with manipulation. Millie is torn between sympathy and suspicion, unsure if Nina is a victim or a villain. The emotional roller coaster leaves Millie exhausted, and she begins to see that Nina's madness may be more calculated than it appears. A pivotal moment arrives when Nina's carefully maintained mask slips. Millie witnesses a side of her employer that is both chilling and desperate. The lines between sanity and madness blur, and Millie realizes that Nina's actions are driven by more than just instability. There's a method to her madness, and Millie must tread carefully to avoid becoming collateral damage in the Winchester's twisted games. Andrew's facade of kindness finally cracks, revealing a cold and calculating individual. He uses his charm as a weapon, manipulating both Nina and Millie to serve his own interests. Millie sees through his act and understands that he is just as dangerous, if not more so, than Nina. The realization sends a chill down her spine, and she knows she must be even more cautious if she wants to survive. The Winchesters' lives are built on a foundation of lies and deceit. Millie uncovers evidence of betrayal, hidden affairs, and long-standing grudges. Every member of the family has something to hide, and Millie realizes she's been drawn into a web that's nearly impossible to escape. The truth is more complicated than she ever imagined, and every answer leads to more questions. Millie's own history comes into play as the situation grows more dangerous. Her time in prison and the hardships she's endured have given her a unique set of survival skills. She draws on her past experiences to navigate the Winchesters' manipulations and protect herself. Millie's resilience becomes her greatest asset, and she refuses to be a victim any longer. As the pressure mounts, Millie discovers reserves of strength she didn't know she had. She becomes more strategic, carefully planning her actions and responses. Her ability to adapt and think on her feet gives her an edge in the dangerous game unfolding around her. Millie's transformation from victim to survivor is both inspiring and suspenseful, keeping readers on the edge of their seats. The psychological battle between Millie and the Winchesters escalates into a fight for survival. Every move is calculated, and the stakes are life or death. Millie must outwit her employers at every turn, using her intelligence and resourcefulness to stay alive. The tension is palpable, and the outcome is far from certain. Millie begins to turn the tables on the Winchesters, using their own tactics against them. She gathers evidence, sets traps, and manipulates situations to her advantage. The power dynamic shifts, and Millie gains the upper hand. Her determination and cunning become her greatest weapons in the fight for freedom. The struggle between Millie and the Winchesters becomes a true battle of minds. Each side tries to outthink and outmaneuver the other, with every decision carrying serious consequences. The psychological tension is at its peak, and Millie must rely on her instincts and intelligence to survive. The outcome hangs in the balance, with both sides refusing to back down. Just when Millie thinks she understands the situation, a shocking revelation changes everything. The roles of victim and villain are flipped, and Millie is forced to reconsider everything she thought she knew. The twist is both unexpected and deeply unsettling, leaving Millie and the reader reeling. With the truth finally out in the open, Millie must come to terms with the reality of her situation. The Winchester secrets are exposed, and the consequences are devastating. Millie's understanding of the family and herself changes forever. The revelations force her to make difficult choices about her future. The story reaches its climax as Millie fights for her life. The Winchesters, desperate to maintain control, become increasingly dangerous. Millie's survival depends on her ability to stay calm under pressure and outsmart her adversaries. The tension is unbearable, and every second counts as Millie battles for her freedom. In a heart-pounding sequence, Millie makes a desperate bid for escape. She uses everything she's learned about the house and the family to outmaneuver her pursuers. The chase is intense, with Millie narrowly avoiding capture at every turn. Her determination and quick thinking are put to the ultimate test. The story builds to a final confrontation between Millie and the Winchesters. Emotions run high as secrets are revealed and true intentions come to light. Millie stands her ground, refusing to be intimidated or manipulated any longer. The outcome of this showdown will determine her fate and the fate of everyone in the house. Just when it seems the story is over, a final twist turns everything upside down. The truth about the Winchesters and Millie's own past comes to light in a shocking revelation. The ending is both satisfying and unsettling, leaving readers questioning everything they thought they knew about the characters and their motivations. In the aftermath of the final confrontation, Millie is left to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. She reflects on everything she's endured and the choices she's made. The experience has changed her, leaving her stronger but also more guarded. Millie's journey is far from over, but she's determined to move forward on her own terms. One of the central themes of the story is control. Who has it, who loses it, and how it's used as a weapon. The Winchesters use psychological manipulation to maintain power over Millie, but she ultimately finds ways to reclaim her autonomy. The struggle for control drives the narrative and shapes every character's actions. Survival is another key theme, as Millie must use every resource at her disposal to stay alive. Her past experiences give her the strength and resilience needed to face the Winchesters' threats. The story explores what it means to survive not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically. Deception runs through every layer of the story. The Winchesters deceive each other, Millie, and even themselves. The house is a stage for lies and secrets, and nothing is as it seems. The theme of deception keeps readers guessing and adds to the suspenseful atmosphere of the novel. Identity is a recurring theme, as Millie struggles to define herself outside of her past. The Winchesters' own identities are also in flux, shaped by secrets and lies. The story asks whether it's possible to escape one's past and create a new identity, or if we are forever defined by our history. The Housemaid is a masterclass in psychological suspense. The novel uses unreliable narrators, shifting perspectives, and carefully crafted tension to keep readers guessing. Every scene is designed to unsettle and surprise, making it impossible to predict what will happen next. The psychological thriller elements are what make the story so gripping. The characters in The Housemaid are complex and multidimensional. Millie's growth from a vulnerable outsider to a resourceful survivor is at the heart of the story. The Winchesters, too, are revealed to be more than just villains. They are products of their own secrets and traumas. The novel's character development adds depth and realism to the suspense. The setting of the Winchester home is crucial to the story's atmosphere. The house is both beautiful and oppressive, a place where secrets are hidden behind every door. The author uses vivid descriptions and sensory details to create a sense of claustrophobia and unease. The setting becomes a character in its own right, shaping the events of the novel. The Housemaid is fast-paced, with every chapter ending on a note of suspense. The author expertly balances moments of quiet tension with explosive revelations, keeping readers hooked from start to finish. The pacing ensures that the story never drags, and the suspense builds steadily to a thrilling climax. The novel's narrative structure adds to its intrigue. Told from Millie's perspective, the story immerses readers in her thoughts and fears. The use of flashbacks and shifting timelines deepens the mystery, revealing crucial information at just the right moment. The structure keeps readers engaged and heightens the impact of the twists. Symbolism plays a significant role in The Housemaid. The locked rooms represent hidden secrets, while the pristine facade of the house symbolizes the Winchesters' carefully constructed image. Even everyday objects take on new meaning as Millie uncovers the truth. The use of symbolism adds layers of depth to the story. Fear is a constant presence in the novel, shaping every decision Millie makes. The author uses fear to create suspense and drive the plot forward. Millie's fear is both a weakness and a motivator, pushing her to take risks and fight for her survival. The exploration of fear adds emotional depth to the story. Trust is a fragile commodity in The Housemaid. Millie's attempts to trust the Winchesters are repeatedly betrayed, leaving her isolated and wary. The theme of betrayal runs throughout the story, highlighting the dangers of misplaced trust. The novel explores how trust can be weaponized and how betrayal can lead to unexpected consequences. Power dynamics are at the heart of the story. The Winchesters wield power over Millie through wealth, status, and psychological manipulation. Millie's struggle to reclaim her power is a central conflict, driving the narrative forward. The shifting power dynamics keep the story unpredictable and engaging. Millie's perspective is shaped by her own fears and experiences, making her an unreliable narrator. Readers are forced to question what is real and what is imagined. Adding to the suspense, the use of an unreliable narrator keeps the story fresh and unpredictable, challenging readers to piece together the truth. The Housemaid thrives on moral ambiguity. There are no clear heroes or villains. Every character is flawed, and their actions are shaped by desperation and fear. The novel challenges readers to question their own judgments and consider the complexity of human behavior. This moral grayness adds depth and realism to the story. The Housemaid is designed to keep readers engaged from start to finish. The fast-paced plot, unpredictable twists, and complex characters make it impossible to put down. The novel invites readers to become detectives, piecing together clues and trying to solve the mystery before the final reveal. The ending of The Housemaid leaves a lasting impact. The final twist forces readers to reevaluate everything they've read, and the emotional resonance lingers long after the last page. The novel's conclusion is both satisfying and thought-provoking, cementing its place as a standout psychological thriller. If you love psychological thrillers packed with suspense, twists, and complex characters, The Housemaid is a must-read. The novel's gripping plot, atmospheric setting, and emotional depth make it a standout in the genre. Whether you're a fan of dark mysteries or simply enjoy a well-crafted story, The Housemaid delivers on every front. The Housemaid by Freida McFadden is a psychological thriller that will keep you guessing until the very end. With its intricate plot, unforgettable characters, and shocking twists, it's a novel that stays with you long after you finish reading. Millie's journey from victim to survivor is both harrowing and inspiring, making The Housemaid a truly memorable read.